Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of The Lead Story. I'm Mike Brown.
And I'm Margot Gray.
And this is a podcast about movies and journalism, where we pick a different movie every other week.
Right.
And we break it down and tell you what we think about it as journalists and maybe some stories from our past. So episode 1 was All the President's Men.
Kind of got off the rails a little bit.
It's okay. That's the whole point of a podcast. Unlike the real news, we can just go however long we want here, really. One of the things that we didn't think about till the very end of that episode was, should our viewers be watching these movies with us? What do you think about that?
Yes, absolutely. I'd love y'all to join in on the conversation.
Because there's a lot of movie podcasts where you can just kind of listen along and be like, okay, they're telling me what the deal is. But
no, you kind of need to see it.
I think with these, you do need to see it a little bit.
Yeah.
So spoilers ahead for all of the movies we're going to cover. There will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen these movies and you want to someday, maybe watch them before the podcast. Now, this episode is about Ace in the Hole, which is from 1951. Now, we said at the end of last episode, Elizabeth Gentle was supposed to be joining us. Unfortunately, Elizabeth's ill. She'll be joining us in a future episode, so we had to punt EG. She'll be joining us later. So, Margot, let's jump right into it. Ace in the Hole, why don't you tell us a little about who's in it and who directed it?
Okay, so directed by Billy Wilder, starring Kirk Douglas as a disgraced reporter, Chuck Tatum, Richard Benedict as Leo Minosa, a man trapped in a cave, and then Jan Sterling as Lorraine Minosa, Leo's wife, Robert Arthur as Herbie Cook, a young photographer who idolizes Mr. Chuck Tatum.
Now, last week, All the President's Men, about two very esteemed journalists who
did all the right things.
This week, Chuck Tatum, he's going to be one of the bad guys of this series. He did not do the right things.
This is what did us in. Like, this is what did a number on the craft of journalism, I'm sure of it, from 50s all the way up till now, because he is horrible.
Very bad. Just wait till you see who we got next week. She's probably just as bad in a different way. So I'm going to leave you hanging on that.
Okay.
So getting into the plot, it starts with Chuck. He's busted out, right? Like, he's literally riding into town, like on the back of a broke-down car on the back of a tow truck. And he goes into this little rinky-dink newspaper in New Mexico, and he starts...
Disgraced.
Yeah, disgraced. He starts pitching himself like, hey, I'm the best newspaper man you've ever seen, and you can have me for a song, basically, right?
How did he get this job? Like, I tried to go back through my mind and through the movie, like, why did the chief editor, even hire him?
Yeah, I mean, he certainly pitched the affordability, which any manager, and I'm a news manager myself, we'll take whatever we can get for a cheap...
But you get what you pay for.
Cheap, but you get what you pay for. It's exactly where I was going with that. And, I mean... how many times have we had people come through our newsroom with those experiences? I've got New York on my resume. I've got Chicago on my resume. I've got this big city, Houston, on my resume. It's like, well, you're...
But then you have to ask why.
Why are you not there anymore? Exactly. There's always something in their past. So he begs, pleads, cajoles, and eventually takes the job for next to nothing, which I think is why the editor eventually does hire him. So in real life, our hiring standards are a little bit tougher than that, right?
Right.
So news is a very small business. It's a small community. There's hundreds of stations around the country, but somehow we all know someone who's been at some station. We can pick up a phone and go, hey, Denver, what do you know about this guy?
So those references mean nothing because there are people in that newsroom that we've all come across that they can just get off the page of your references and find out the true story behind who you are.
In a modern day YouTube, we have video of anyone who applies to be an anchor, reporter, whatever. They've got what we call a reel, which is a collection of stories about 5-7 minutes long.
Right.
And we've both been in those hiring rooms where we've taking a look at these people who are applying for the jobs. And what are you looking for when you're looking at these reels of these young reporters who are trying to get in the door?
Their storytelling, first off.
Yeah.
Their presentation style, and if it is a story to begin with. And I think that's where we go back to Ace in the Hole, because he was trying to sink his teeth into one thing to get him back to New York, right?
That's it.
And comes along a man stuck in a cave. And he has to just drag this thing on out because he's trying to get back to New York.
Exactly.
But he wasn't a liar in that interview. He kind of said...
He did.
I lie in my pieces.
Yeah. He said, I was fired for drinking on the job here. I was fired for fooling around with the boss's wife there. I was fired for making this up or doing that. And he's like, here's what you're getting with me. So he was straightforward that way. And I mean, he listed off all the cities he's been to. And I was thinking about this last night. I pulled up one of those maps where, you click the states where you've been to.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, where are the reporters and producers and anchors I've worked with? What states do they come from? And I'd clicked off like 30 states before I just gave up on ideas. Like, we come across people from all across the country here.
Right. That's right.
The other thing about Chuck is he's got an ego a mile wide. He's like, I'm temporarily embarrassed here in
Right.
Albuquerque. I'm going back to New York.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
You just wait. You just wait and see the story that I'm about to pull off, and I'll be back on the next train smoking. But a year later, he's still waiting on that hot story.
And here's my question for you on that is, and again, this comes up in a lot of movies, the ego in the news business. Is that something you personally believe is a real thing, or is that kind of exaggerated?
No, it depends on who you're talking to.
Or about?
I think you need to have a little bit of an ego or presence or some kind of bravado to do news to begin with, because we're already nosy people, and curiosity is a main caveat to doing what we do. But like it also has to come with a lot of confidence to be able to step into a room and go up to the people who are in the know and then put a mic in their face. So you have to have a little bit of ego too, and then I get to present it. I get to tell that story. So it comes with the territory, and it gets worse when you talk to a certain person.
And you're putting yourself out there too, like we talked about last week in All the President's Men. If you get it wrong, that's on you.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I always tell my producers who, for those of you who don't know, producers work behind the scenes. They write the stories. They pick the stories. And I'm like, you can make a mistake, and you can go home and not worry about it. The anchor is the one who's...
It's my face who delivered it.
Exactly. So
I'm
always have that in mind.
I'm getting the nasty emails and the phone calls of, you screwed that up.
I'll say for my part, I have run into a few folks along the line in my 20 years that had that, I'm from the big city. I'm going to come in here to Huntsville and tell you what's for. And they don't last.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yep, they don't last. I can think of 2 or 3 of them off the top of my head. I think I worked with them for less than a year before they were gone for one reason or another.
I mean, that comes with, yes, we are in the state of Alabama, and Huntsville is a big little city.
Good way to put it. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, who you know still really matters. And, you just never know if you talk to some person and you have wronged them in a certain way or taken them out of context, which we never want to do, ever. You don't know that he is brothers with the judge that you're about to go see if you go to court tomorrow.
And one of the persons who comes to my mind is a guy named Malcolm Johnson. Remember Malcolm?
I do remember.
He started as a cameraman. He worked his way up to producer. Now he's in New York City as a producer.
Yeah.
If you were mean to Malcolm when he was here in Huntsville as a lowly cameraman, now you're applying for a job in New York City. Oh, Malcolm's sitting there across from me interviewing me for this job. Oh, no, I was mean to this guy 10 years ago in Huntsville. It happens.
It happens, and it is who you know in this business for sure.
Yeah, shout out Malcolm, past future guest. We're going to have him on the show.
Yeah, we should.
I would love to hear from him again. Let's jump into I Know That Guy, part 1. There's 2 in this one. Porter Hall, the guy who played the editor, Mr. Boot. He was in a lot of classic movies like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, His Girl Friday. He's probably best known for a holiday movie. It is the holiday season. He is the psychologist who wants to send Santa to the crazy house in the original Miracle on 34th Street. So a little bit of he's got one of those faces like, oh, the mustache guy.
Uh-huh.
So after a year of boredom, Chuck and his photographer Herbie, they are on the way to the rattlesnake hunt, which is a decidedly unglamorous story. We were talking before we came on air. We have covered many a rattlesnake hunt between us.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. It just goes back to the whole saying of it's either feast or famine in small towns at some point. Or even if you go to a big town, it's like you can't keep covering the same thing. So the reverse is true for us. But like when I reported my first on-air gig was Wilmington, North Carolina, and it was true. Feast or famine. Either, there is crazy storms coming through and damage all over the place, or you have nothing but festivals to cover.
Yeah.
And I covered all of them. The Blueberry Festival, the Strawberry Festival, the Azalea Festival. I mean, it was, how many times can I tell this story differently that, everybody in town was there. So how do
Yeah.
I tell the story?
I've been producing weekends here for the last little bit, and we're sending our photographers to those festivals as well. The UFO Festival in Fife, the Strawberry
Yes.
Festival in Moulton, and these are great festivals, by the way. They're entertaining stories.
But you have to
Thousands of people are there.
You have to find the unique character.
There's only so many ways you can say
I
there was
know.
bounce houses for kids and local vendors.
I
You have to
know.
find that unique thing at
Yeah.
each of these festivals, and we do.
We do.
They are interesting, and
try.
shout out to the Strawberry Festival. Thank you guys for sending us some T-shirts and strawberries this summer. But like you said, feast or famine. So Chuck has this fantasy as they're driving there about a rattlesnake getting loose in downtown Albuquerque, and what a great story that would be. And that hit home a little bit. We kind of make those comments in the newsroom sometimes, like, man, I wish we had a loose lion downtown. That'd be something. I think there was a story the other day about a
Only
tiger.
we think of things like this. Nobody in the real world thinks of stuff like that.
Well,
That's where our brain goes.
It's kind of like first responders, your cops, paramedics, firefighters, news people. They all have that gallows humor because they've seen so much. They're just like,
Right.
"Oh, man, if a lion got loose, I know exactly what I would do in that story."
Nothing phases us
Yeah.
at this point. But it is funny going back to even a lion getting loose. But Chuck says in that interview, that ambush interview, basically, he's just like, look, I'll bite a dog if we need some news.
Yeah, for sure.
And so instead of man or dog bites man, which is something we see and hear all the time, he's like, look, if we need some news, I'll bite a dog.
Yeah. And that's just kind of the attitude you got to have. And how many times have we joked about that? There's nothing going on. Margo, you go rob a bank.
Go rob a bank.
Go
yeah.
rob a bank. And then, of course, Steven will jump in. That's not big enough. You need to rob 2 banks. So speaking of the rattlesnake hunt versus Leo in the hole, one of the things that they talk about is, positive stories, bad news sells best, is what Chuck says. And we always hear, and it's always in the social media comments, why don't you tell good stories? Where's the good news? Where's the positive stories? And
How do you feel about that?
I can tell you exactly how I feel about that. And I can tell you exactly how the viewers feel about it, because we do this thing called research where we ask our viewers dozens, hundreds of questions.
Right.
What do you want to see? Who do you like? What
matters
What
to you?
matters to
Yeah.
you? Rank these in rank of importance. And positive stories,
Fall to the bottom.
near the bottom. And when I was working at another station in town, we kind of tried to counter program a little bit. We're like, they're going to be all the crime, they're going to be all the bad news. We're going to do 2 positive stories every day.
Nobody watch.
I can't say if nobody watched, but it didn't help.
Yeah.
It's a bold strategy, but it doesn't work. And that's not to say those stories don't have a place.
They do have a place.
do, absolutely.
And there has to be some levity in
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
the death and destruction that we cover.
Yeah,
And we do
for
try to introduce some of that. I think that's why Nightly News ends every newscast on, there's good news
There's good news tonight, yeah.
Right. Like there
Exactly,
has
exactly.
to,
It
we got
has
to
a place.
leave people with something to be hopeful for.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what drives eyes
Yeah.
viewing your content, sadly, is the negative.
I'm looking off to the side right now because we have a monitor in our newsroom saying which web story has the most hits of the day, and it's always the same types of stories, and
Yeah.
they're not positive stories. And that's not to say that that's the only thing we use to judge what we base our story decisions on, but it does play a role.
It does.
So Kirk, Chuck and Herbie, they stop at the gas station. That's where they learn that Leo is stuck in the cave. Chuck then tells a story about a miner in Kentucky named Floyd Collins who was in a similar situation. Now, this was not made up for the movie. This is a real story that happened in the 20s. And I want to take just a second to tell it because it's really interesting. So just like he says, there's this explorer named Floyd Collins. He's looking in the cave for artifacts, Native American artifacts, exactly like Leo was in the movie. When there's a cave in, he's trapped. And a reporter from the Kentucky newspaper comes in and talks to him, just like in the movie. And just like in the movie, the reporter does the right thing in the real world, where he's like he's part of the search and rescue. He's trying to help, but just like in the movie, this story goes out over the radio, and all of a sudden there's this huge swarm of people in
Right.
Kentucky, and the campfires from all the people camped out. You can see pictures if you Google it on YouTube or on Google. There's literally hot dogs, 5 cents, and these hundreds of people. All the campfires from these people camped out melted the ice in the cave, which means that Floyd Collins was lying in a puddle and he caught pneumonia. All the people on top of the cave caused more shuffling and more cave-ins, and they couldn't get to him, and he died.
Oh my God.
And they're saying they might have been able to save him if all these people hadn't showed up. So this is a real story that really happened that this movie's based on, and that's crazy.
Media circus.
Yeah, there's a scene in here where the people are singing the Leo Minosa song. You can go on YouTube right now and look for the Floyd Collins story, Floyd Collins song, and there's a real song from 1925. He goes, and get old Floyd out the cave, and it's a
Oh my gosh.
very depressing song. So look that up
It
when you
just got
have a
dark.
minute.
This movie got dark real
Yes.
fast.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Okay, so I saw this Reddit quote
Mm-hmm.
where a person, and it made me laugh, Chuck Tatum has to be among the most hateable leads in cinema ever.
Yeah, he makes the wrong choice
He
at every
is
turn.
slapping people. Mm-hmm. He is setting up crooked schemes,
Yeah.
killing someone. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah, so once the story goes viral, he makes that deal with the sheriff, like, you keep the
Viral
other
in that time.
You keep
The
the other
newspaper
reporters.
spreads, yeah.
You keep those other reporters away. Just let me
Just
be the
talk to
guy
me.
here. Yeah, I'll
Just
be
let
your
me go
spokesman.
in. I just don't even. It didn't even make sense. Why is he the only one getting to go in his cave?
Well,
Why
because
is
he's like,
he even
I'll
going in
write
this
these
cave?
nice stories about you, sheriff, to help you with your reelection.
know,
That's
but
what
it's
he was
just like-
doing. As they're doing all this, Leo disappears. There's 45 minutes of this movie where you don't see Leo. So
Yeah.
I think what that means is the ace in the hole. Leo is the ace in the hole of the movie. He doesn't matter. It's all about the circus around him, and he's secondary to what we're doing here.
I just don't even. And then he has this whole dramatic ending, but like, this is what you were looking for the whole time.
Yeah.
You weren't really trying to save this man to begin with. So
No,
don't feel
he
all
wasn't.
beside yourself when he is dying in there.
He wasn't. It was definitely a thing. And as the stories get out, all these people come and they set up a literal circus, like you said, a
Literal
media
circus.
circus. I mean, and that's what happened before the internet. Is people just show up if this big story happened near you, go check
Right.
it out.
And
The
there's
Lindbergh
no-
baby, major trials, the Manson family, OJ. Remember all the people lining the streets as OJ's going on the chase?
Yeah.
It's
Or
human nature
standing
to want to be part of
Standing
it.
outside. I mean, that still does happen. Look
Yeah.
at P. Diddy. Diddy had people outside his trial every day.
Yeah, they wanna be there,
Hordes of
see it.
people. And it wasn't just traditional media. It was all the YouTubers and the bloggers and everything else standing outside. And we still have stories that create that circus even now.
Yeah. I mean, one minor example that comes to mind here in Huntsville is Toffee. You remember Toffee the dog?
I do remember that, but that was good.
But that was good.
story.
It was a similar situation. This brave, beautiful little dog named Toffee, blind and deaf. This dog,
I know.
a gift from the news gods, stuck in a cave, a crevasse, whatever, in South Huntsville. I think she was down there for like a day and a half or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
and round the clock coverage. All the stations had a little circle set up with the
but
cameras zoomed in
It
on the
was
hole.
because everybody could root for Toffee.
Everyone's rooting for Leo. They want Leo out of the hole too, except for Chuck.
Except for Chuck. And the sheriff.
And then once Toffee comes out, it's a big hero moment. It
was great.
We're rolling the video right now. The dog being
It
held
was
up.
great.
It was
and
a
there's
great
now
moment.
a children's book for Toffee and everything.
Toffee,
We're still
yeah.
following up on Toffee.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. A couple weeks ago, they did an interview that, like you said, Toffee. There was some book about Toffee, and I was working on a newscast, and I look up and I saw the Toffee on another station, and I got mad because like, what do they know about Toffee? What did we miss about Toffee?
It's serious. We love
Yeah.
Toffee and we need updates.
I was like, I can't believe we missed a Toffee story.
That is a story that keeps on giving.
It was.
But
It
getting
was.
back to Chuck and how he just defied all the tenets of what you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Trustworthy,
Yeah.
having integrity, empathy even. Like,
I
it just
had none of it.
none of it.
None of it. And like you said, the deal with the sheriff and the deal with the contractor is just, it's beyond unethical and immoral. It's illegal. It's everything. Everything you can imagine. So let's get into I Know That Guy Part 2.
Okay.
The sheriff. He was known for playing another sheriff, Roy Coffey, on Bonanza. 99 episodes on Bonanza for that guy, a guy named Roy Teal. Wow. And if you go to his IMDb,
He was a working actor.
if you go to his not only was he a working actor, he was very specifically typecast. If you go to his IMDb and like Control F sheriff, like 20 hits, like he played 20 different sheriffs.
Really?
He just had that law enforcement look. I
You know
guess.
who that reminds me of people in authority? The guy from Shawshank Redemption, the jailer in Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
He played like cops. From,
Yeah, I think he was also in Green Mile too. Yeah.
Like that. He was typecast for real.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So it's all going south. Leo is getting worse. Leo's not getting out. He's completely stuck. He's got pneumonia. his wife is still scheming. They give him he tells him, Chuck, it's my anniversary. Give my wife the furs,
the gifts.
And she's like, oh, this is a piece of junk. I hate it. I can buy.
She wanted to go to New York.
She wanted to go to New York and get a better one. And so Chuck is kind of like, he does feel some of that empathy for Leo. He's like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you appreciate your husband down in the hole? He's gonna die and you don't care. And it's too late, man.
It's too late.
It's too late, man. You've done this. It's all on you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Chuck does, like, there's some of those, the last scene where he's in there with Leo, Kirk Douglas is playing a little bit of a twinge of like, I'm guilty, I feel regret about this. It's a little melodramatic, but, it's a melodramatic movie. And you can see the guilt starting to weigh on him a little bit, just a little bit, I think. He goes and gets the priest, and what I think Chuck is really doing is he's trying to absolve himself of the guilt.
Yes.
Like, Leo's a lost cause. He's trying to save his own soul at this point. And he gets into that, what you mentioned, that really uncomfortable scene where he slaps around Lorraine, and she stabs him right in the gut. I think it was scissors or butter knife, I forget what. But
and why didn't I was curious the whole time. Why is he not seeking medical treatment? Is this like, I'm now a martyr in this whole situation? I just didn't understand it.
Could be. I don't know. That's a deeper question than I've got the capacity to answer.
I was lost on that part.
But yeah, Chuck's desperate. He feels the story slipping away. As Leo dies, he knows the story's dying. He's made a deal by this point to get a job in New York. But now that the story's going away, the job's hanging by a thread. And then what I think is interesting is he calls up the editor in New York after he's been stabbed, and he tries to sell his own unethical behavior as a story.
Yes, still.
He's like, I got a story for you.
Still at it.
This dirtbag newsman did this terrible thing and killed a guy, and what's the editor do? In New York?
Have you no shame?
Yeah, no, he doesn't do that. He laughs at him. He thinks he's a joke.
Have you no shame?
He's like, oh, have you no shame? And just hangs up, and that's the end of it. And then he collapses and dies, and that's the end of old Chuck Tatum.
Dramatic ending too, is that? But I think that was the era where everything ended
for
like
sure.
that.
For sure. I do want to talk about that last shot of him walking into the
frame,
collapsing and face down right in the camera with the tell the truth sign behind him in the office. You know who copied that shot?
Who?
Spike Lee says this is one of his favorite movies of all time.
What?
And he copied this shot when his character in Malcolm X dies.
Okay.
Yeah. So go back and watch Malcolm X. The scene where Spike Lee collapses and dies is shot for shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yes. When he collapses,
is shot for shot a recap of this.
Interesting.
Yeah, I watched this interview of Spike talking with TCM, and he pulled out like this poster signed by the director, signed by Kirk Douglas. This is my favorite movie. This influenced me so much in school. So that's really interesting stuff. We'll have a link to that on the website.
Okay.
So yeah, as Chuck's dying, like I said, I think he's regretting what happened a little bit. Like, have you ever regretted a big story that went crazy?
Nothing that went crazy. I think when several stories come to mind for me personally that went crazy or led to real change or even arrest, 2 people, being put in prison. That was vetted. Every T was crossed, every I was dotted. But it was those day turns that can really get you into trouble, where you're trying to turn around a story within that 8-hour shift of yours or 10-hour shift. And one comes to mind where it wasn't about his military career, but when someone straight up lies to your face, that is what still upsets me, is that
So this person had said he was in the military.
Correct.
It was an important part of the story, but it was like,
right.
this poor vet is being mistreated.
In addition to him being mistreated and that his landlord wasn't doing what was right, and it was about him, still having to pay rent and struggling to do that, but his landlord is, a slumlord or whatever. But he also added in that, hey, by the way, I'm an Army veteran. Yeah. And so I said, oh, please send me your pictures, send me your time, were you honorably discharged, all those things that you ask. Yeah. He's like, yeah, I'll get it to you. And I'm butting up against the hour. And I ran it, mentioned it, and the minute that story aired, someone who knows him personally was like, that man lied to you. And I was like, to this day, it really still upsets me.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's like, why lie to me? I am trying to help you. Yeah. Why do that?
And it's a bummer too, because like, we're trying to get your story out there. You're telling us this unnecessarily false information.
Right.
You
could have just been a regular guy.
All this work to verify it.
Your valor had nothing to do with it.
Yeah. And and it makes us look bad. It makes you look bad. It makes the story not worthless, but pretty close to worthless at that point. It kind of invalidates everyone's work. So, and we'll talk about this a little bit more in the next episode as well, where we do our level best to tell stories without harming the people involved. And sometimes that's just not possible. Every story we tell, whether it's big or small, has the potential to impact someone's life. And we take that very seriously. Very seriously. And when it goes wrong, and in this case it went, holy cow, did it go wrong for Leo Minosa, that's a rough one. Yeah. It really is.
Absolutely.
So real quick, let's turn the corner to Film Nerd Corner. It's another segment we have here. Billy Wilder, like you said, directed this movie. He is one of the GOATs. This guy is one of the best directors of all time. He's got 2 Oscars for Best Picture, 2 Oscars for Best Director, and his life is fascinating. He was a reporter in Germany before World War II. So he worked at a legitimate news outlet. He worked at a tabloid. So the tabloid, I think, is maybe where he got the idea for this just a little bit. Once the Nazis took over, he fled to Paris, then the U.S., he was Jewish. Some of his family members did not survive the Nazis, unfortunately. So very, very lucky that he was able to escape to the United States. His first big movie was called Ninochka, which is just your everyday rom-com about a Stalinist communist. It's a great movie. Stalinist communist who falls in love with a
you need
Parisian.
to count how many movies you've actually watched.
I've got a letterboxd account where I can tell you exact number. It's in 1,500 some. But anyway, crazy movie, Ninochka. Watch it. That was his writer. Then listen to these movies that he directed. Even if you're not a movie person, you've probably heard of some of these. And these are all mostly in a row, by the way. Double Indemnity, The Lost Weekend, Sunset Boulevard, Stalag 17, Sabrina, Witness for the Prosecution, Some Like It Hot, The Apartment, The Front Page, and, of course, today's movie, Ace in the Hole. I mean, that is all hits, no misses.
Right.
Home run after home run right there. I mean, just Billy Wilder. And I recommend watching every single one of those movies I mentioned. And then another movie called Avanti, which was kind of dumb, but I liked it, which is from the 70s. So that's my Film Nerd Corner for the day.
Right.
Billy Wilder, look him up. Any closing thoughts on this one, Margot?
I just, again, good selections. All of your selections so far. And by the way, Mike is picking all these movies so far, and hopefully I'll give you some good ones to throw in the bunch. But we were coming out strong.
Yeah.
We had All the President's Men, Ace in the Hole. Great movie. And I was really nervous on the onset with the time period.
Yeah.
And if I would be able to sit through it.
You texted me, this is an old movie.
Right. The minute I press play, I'm like, this is old.
I think I texted you back, we got one from the 20s coming up later.
Right. Yeah. So I was a little worried, but honestly, to Billy Wilder's credit, great movie.
Yeah.
Loved it. Yeah. I chuckled. I laughed. I felt sad. I felt all the emotions from this movie.
What did you think about him calling Herbie Fan every 5 minutes?
Just what?
I don't know.
What?
I Googled that to try to figure out, was fan something people called each other
Like
back in the 50s?
slang?
Yeah, no, because
weird.
all I could find was other people asking the same question. Like, what's with this?
Oh my
So
gosh.
I don't know.
Any of your last thoughts?
Yeah, like I said, just fantastic movie. It's beautiful to look at. It's one of those things that you can really tell the director's impact on it. It's incredibly shot. Kirk Douglas is just amazing. He's a fantastic actor, and
Did this put him on the map? I know about his son.
I don't remember his filmography off the top of my head, but yeah, he was pretty well established by this. I mean, I don't know if he'd done Spartacus by this point or 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which is the first Kirk Douglas movie I saw when I was like 7.
I didn't even know it was him. I've seen that movie and I did not know
The
that was
20,000
Kirk
Leagues
Douglas.
Under the Sea?
Yes, the original.
Yeah, the little Disney one with Captain Nemo and Ned Land.
Yeah,
Yes.
I did not know that was him.
Yeah, of course. So next time, another great movie that I think you haven't watched yet.
No.
But you're going to. I think you're going to like this one, Absence of Malice, starring Sally Field and Paul Newman. So you get to look at another handsome man. That's 3 in a row.
I love Sally, though.
Sally's great, too.
Sally's
but
my girl.
This next episode, I'm going to tell you, Sally might be worse than Chuck.
Oh,
for
no.
different reasons, but we'll see. And I'm excited we have... Let's cross our fingers and hope the guest comes through. Nick Law will be joining us.
We started at the same time here at 48.
Yeah, former reporter, current attorney at law, Nick Law, will be joining us for the Absence of Malice episode in 2 weeks. So join us for that. waff.com/the lead story. You can find show notes and a whole lot of fun links and other exciting stuff, plus old episodes. And, of course, don't forget to follow us on Letterboxd, which is a fun social media website for movies and movie lovers where we post reviews and fun stuff. And you get to see my and Margot's favorite movies on there and all sorts of other great stuff. And last episode, we said we would come up with a good tagline.
Still
and we
haven't.
didn't.
Still haven't.
Yeah, we got our deadlines are hard.
What's your lead story is all we have right now.
See you at the movies?
No, that doesn't work.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, Absence of Malice in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching.